Okay, so the goal of this video is to support you in doing the work for Unit 3, Evidence is Beautiful. And thanks once again to Carolyn, who's kind of our canary in a coal mine. She started working on this and pointed out for the second time some issues she was having. So I thought it was important to kind of revisit this and provide some support because this ends up being more difficult than I had intended. So, what I'm assuming is that you've done what I had emailed you in this email, which shows you where to go to the New York State Ed data website and download the 3 through 8 assessment data, which you'll get into a zip file, and then you'll decompress it. And what I then said was go right into Google Sheets. There's a problem with that in that there's so much data in that spreadsheet that Google Sheets kind of can't handle it. So we're going to add an intermediate step, which is dealing with Excel or something like Excel, depending on what you have. And we'll pre-sort some things and then bring it into Google Sheets. So let's say you've done all this. So now, rather than going to Google Sheets, I'm going to go into Excel. And actually, for me, not Excel, I use a different program called LibreOffice. LibreOffice is a open source and free comparable product to Microsoft Office. So there's a spreadsheet thing which they call Calc. There's a word processing thing which they call Word. There's a PowerPointy thing, and there's other things. We're not going to deal with that now, but essentially what I'm doing here, you'll be able to do in Excel, which is what I assume that you have. So I'm opening a blank spreadsheet, and what I'm going to do is go to the CSV file that I got from the zip file that I downloaded from the state website. So let's just talk about this a little bit. When you go to the state website, you download a zip file. It looks like this. 3 through 8 data from 2017, 2018. Then you open that and it becomes a folder, and the folder has two files in it. One has a file that's CSV, which is something that Microsoft Excel, or in my case LibreOffice Calc, can understand, and the other is an MDB file, which is something that Microsoft Access can understand, or other database applications. We're not dealing with those, so we're going to deal with, in this course at least, so we're going to use the CSV file. Okay, so what we're going to do is go in and open that file. So I would go just like I would normally, File, Open. I navigate to that folder, and I'm going to select the CSV file. And when I do, I'm going to be presented with a dialog that says, here's the data. Are you sure you want to import that? And as long as it looks kind of like this, I do. And so I say OK. Now it's going to take a little bit, and you'll see it loading across the bottom of the screen. Obviously, it'll look slightly different in Excel. It'll look slightly different if you're using a Microsoft Windows computer or a Mac. But in any case, it'll look kind of like this. And you can tell from the fact that it's taking so long that there are many, many, many rows. I want to say that there are approximately 400,000 rows. So almost 500,000 rows of data, which is way more than Google Sheets can handle, which Carolyn discovered as part of her activities this weekend. So we'll wait for it to load, and then we'll look at what we have. Again, this is just a huge file, so it's no accident that Google Sheets was very unhappy with it. Although Excel and this program will have no problem with it because it's built to do. I forget what the limit is on Excel, but it's a lot of rows. Obviously more than 400,000. Okay, so this is almost done. And what we'll see when we're done is we have a spreadsheet. So there are, okay, when did the year end? What's the beds code, which is the way that the state identifies the district, and this doesn't separate it out by district. The name, which is the name of the data, which is statewide all districts and charter schools, the item subject area. So you'll see here ELA or math. And so what I recommend that you do is pick one. Doesn't matter which one you pick, but pick one. It then tells you the grade. I'm sorry, it gives you the description. So this first row is grade 3 ELA. This row is grade 3 math. This is grade 4 ELA, etc. You'll see that the data has an identifier for subgroups. So subgroup 1 is all students. Subgroup 2 is female students. Subgroup 3 is male students. Then we go through 4 through 9, which is other racial distinctions. Then starting with group 10, general ed versus students with disabilities versus English language learners, etc., etc. And so, now what else do we have? What were the total number of students tested? So we'll see across everybody, it seems to be 173,000. And then there are other subdivisions here. So what I recommend that you do, and what you really should do, is decide which subset of data you'd like to use. So for example, maybe you want to focus on grade, let me just pick something randomly. I'd like to just deal with grade 6 ELA. Okay, so I don't want to deal with anything else. I just want to deal with grade 6 ELA. I don't know why, but I do. This is not the only way I can divide it, but I can. So what you do is use the sort function. And so I'm going to select all the data except for the top row because I need the header. Sorry, I made a mistake there. So, okay, and then I want to sort the data. So I go to data and sort, and then it's going to ask me my sort parameters. So I want column I. So I want to sort by column I, and that's all I want to do for now. So when I do that, I get the same data, but now it's going to take a second to sort because it's enormous. And the spreadsheet's frozen, which is how I know it's still processing those data. So we'll wait for a second. And it's still working. So we'll give it another moment. Okay, so now and you see that took a while. So I sorted by that column I, and so it's the entire spreadsheet is now sorted by the column I, which is the item description. Okay, so now I only want information about, what did I say? Grade 4 ELA, grade 5 ELA. I'll pick another one because I don't remember what it was. Okay, so now as you go, you can see that initially it's everybody and now it's by school. So I could further sort by school. Let's see what else I can sort by. Let's just go through here. I'm just curious as to whether, okay, so I have cities. I'm just going to see whether that's cities or counties. This looks like, yeah, these are counties. Okay, so I can decide that I only care about grade 4, whatever I picked, by types of schools, by region of schools. So the whole point here is you're gonna, in order to move this into Google Sheets, you're gonna have to decide on how you want to narrow the data, and you do that by sorting until you find what you want. So for the purpose of this video, what I'm going to do is I'd like to see, I'm looking at how this file is put together, and where did I just see charters? So the NRC code I don't know what NRC is, but I seem to have categories. So I'd like to know how charter schools are doing. And so that's number 7. So what I'm going to do is sort the data again. Again, I'm going to remove that top. I'm going to isolate out that top row so I don't sort on it. And I'm going to sort by IRC code. Yeah, here's what I want to do. I'm going to auto filter it. So when I do that, I get these little drop arrows. And now all I care about is not every value, but only the value for number 7, which is the charter one. Okay, so now all I see are all the charters everywhere. And you can see that. And then there seems to be way more charters than I had expected. But again, I see them all by, I see them all across those various student distinction codes. So okay, so I have charters, and now I'm going to also kind of subdivide for the particular grade that I want. So I'd like to know how students are doing in math leaving charter schools. So that'd be grade 8. So I'm going to go, once again, I'm not going to select all of them. I'm going to select grade 8 math. So now I have charter schools and the results for grade 8 math across the state. Now maybe I don't want the whole state. Maybe I just want, I want to deal with Bronx. I want to deal with New York, but I can subdivide those. There's Kings counties and Queens, which is very funny to me. But I think that you get the idea. I'm sorry, Kings counties in Brooklyn. So now it's a reasonable number. I mean, a comparably reasonable number. And so I'm going to go back up to the top of the spreadsheet, and I'm going to make a new spreadsheet with just the items I've selected. Okay, so I want all of these data, so I'm going to select all of it. So I will copy that. I'm going to create a new spreadsheet as soon as the copying has taken place. Again, this is such a large data set that it's going to take a moment. And we're still waiting for it to process all of these rows. Okay, so I'm going to create a new spreadsheet, and I'm going to paste in what I got. And now I have all of the charter data, all of the data from charter schools for the grade 8 math exam. Okay, so let me save that. Grade 8 charter math. I'll put it wherever I need to put it. Okay, so I have this. All right, so now I have a subset of these data. And again, what I encourage you to do is you take a look at how you want to narrow it, but narrow it. I pick charter schools, I pick grade 8 math, you pick whatever you want. All right, so now I'm going to go back to Google Sheets. And I'm going to bring in, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to import the data that I just took. Grade 8 charter. And now you see that Google Sheets has no real problem taking it. Okay, so now this is small enough that Google Sheets can deal with it, and now you can do the work on preparing a visualization in here that follows along with the rest of the assignment. So give that a try. Let me know what questions you have, and otherwise have fun.